Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about one of the more common issues that people are having with their CO2 scrubber attachment, and that is excess moisture getting into the tubing and then finding its way over to the reactor and getting into the media. So in this video I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I've implemented, give you guys some food for thought, and hopefully prevent the issue from ever happening. So first things first, the biggest issue that people are having, which I feel like I should have mentioned it earlier, is if you don't have a drain like fitting on your cup, or you don't have a sensor which will tell your skimmer to turn off when the water level gets too high or the skimmate gets too high in the cup, you should not be using a recirculating system. Just because if there's no place for that, say you put something in your tank, say you overfeed or whatever and your skimmer starts going crazy, if you are overflowing that cup and it doesn't have any place to go to like a collection container, or the skimmer just doesn't shut off because it's too high, you're going to suck all that stuff into the media and you're going to have a huge problem. So first things first, if you don't have a drain or a way to shut off the skimmer, do not use one of these until you figure that out. If you want to get a drain, they're pretty simple. You can drill a hole through the bottom of the cup. You can add your own barb, things like that. I've seen it happen many times. So just keep that in mind and implement that first and foremost. Now the next thing is, what I've noticed people who are having issues with the excess moisture is that they're doing too much of a wet skim. So do a dry skim. I like to run a dry skim just because I don't really feel like dumping out my collection container. Even if it is 5 gallons, I still like to just dump it out once a month, once every other month. So running a dry skim not only takes care of the nutrient issues that I have in the tank, but it also doesn't fill up the collection container as often. So do a dry skim, less bubbles, less issues, less chance of that moisture and those skimmate bubbles getting and finding their way into the hose there, the tubing on the attachment. Now the next thing you can do is implement the collection container here, which you guys see on the back wall. Now this is a really good idea. I've seen it work on many tanks. I've gotten tons of pictures and feedback on these. Now the only issue that I've noticed is if you plumb it, like I have it plumbed right here, because I have my collection cup pretty much level with my skimmate container, I really don't worry about it. But ideally you want to take it from the barb on the ring here and go to the top of the collection container. That way you can use gravity to your advantage, and when the moisture goes through the top, it drips down opposed to the side and being pulled up. So I find that if you plumb it that way, you have a better chance of success. Now there are maybe 1 out of maybe 30 or 40 people is still having issues with the moisture finding its way past the barb. So I might remake the barb and figure out a solution to that. But outside of just making sure you're not doing a wet skim and that you're using gravity to your advantage when it comes to plumbing the tubing, you really shouldn't have any issues outside of that. So speaking of gravity, you guys can see my setup here that my reactor is actually higher than my CO2 scrubber attachment, and my collection container is pretty much level. So that's the next thing, and probably the most important thing that you can do, and I think you should do if you are going to implement one of these on your setup, is make sure that the reactor is higher than the skimmer itself. Now a lot of people like to put their reactor down here with their calcium reactor and all their gadgets and stuff like that, which is fine, it looks cool, but at the end of the day, do you want function or do you want it to look cool? Your best bet is to mount it higher, be it on the wall, behind the tank, or somewhere in your sump where it's higher than your skimmer. Just find a way to use gravity to your advantage. And again, you're going to have a less likely or less chance of having the moisture in the skimmate or whatever might go through the cup there, getting through the tubing and finding its way up to a reactor if the reactor is up or elevated above the actual skimmer. So adding the collection container, making that higher than the reactor or the skimmer, and then making the reactor higher than the skimmer. Those are two of the main solutions when it comes to solving the excess moisture getting into there. Now, can you make sure there's no moisture at all? Is there a way to prevent it altogether? Absolutely not. No, it's a closed loop system. You're going to get some kind of moisture. We just have to make sure we implement solutions or methods to help make sure it never makes its way to the reactor. And again, elevating it, adding the collection container, and doing a wet skim, or sorry, doing a dry skim. Those are the methods that I have noticed that really work and have solved 99% of the issues that you guys have come to me with. So with that said, guys, I don't want to make the video too long. I just wanted to get the information out there and hopefully solve any issues that you might have. Now, if you have any questions or anything you want to add, feel free to put it in the comment section, and I will look back in a couple days and answer those questions for you. So, with that said, I'll see you guys later. Peace.